potential that this rat's foot was planted here as a way of getting money out of a lawsuit from Olive Garden, because this kind of lawsuit has actually happened in the past in a very similar way.
So, you can't see the title because it's behind my big fat head, but it says huge Olive Garden drama. Apparently, a guy was eating soup at Olive Garden and he bit into a rat's foot.
So Olive Garden's not going quietly into the night. They're fighting back here. They're not just going belly up, letting Hulkmania run wild on them. They're not looking to settle with some undisclosed financial amount to try and bury this or anything. They are pushing back against this lawsuit and all of the claims. And it's pretty
Makes sense.
interesting. If it turns out he did travel with his own rat's foot to plant here in order to try and scam Olive Garden, it wouldn't be the first of its kind. Something very similar actually happened to Wendy's a while
Yeah, this is something that happens often,
ago with a severed
I
human
imagine.
finger, which turned out to be part of a scam, and the culprits faced real hard consequences for it. We'll get to that story here in a minute, too. I want to talk about this whole the scope of food related body parts, both human and animal. So, I've been thinking about it a little bit. To serve someone a severed rat's foot would be extremely hard to do on accident.
You like yeah. In all honesty, from somebody that worked 10, 15 years in the restaurant industry, there's no possible way that this could have happened, at least on the restaurant level. Um, because like it was the guy said it was in his soup. Now the way that soups and sauces come in a restaurant, they're in like an airtight, prepackaged, uh, sealed plastic bag that's like super thick, and they're frozen completely solid like a fucking brick. And then you get them in a box full of these bricks of soup or sauces and whatever. And then you have to take them and put them in a hot bath. The hot bath is just a super hot fucking metal thing filled with really hot water. So you put it in there for like an hour, whatever amount of time you need to put it in there to make sure it's fully cooked. And then you just leave it in there until when you take it out of the thing, you get your pan that you're going to put it in, which they would know if there was a rat in the pan. So they take that, they cut it open, they put it in the pan, put the lid and stuff on it, and then put it in their workstation. So the only way for this to possibly happen on the store level, there would have to be a whole fucking rat in the soup. Somehow the rat got all the way up into the restaurant, which, come on, restaurants are better than this like nowadays. They have health codes, they have proper precautions to keep pests and rodents away and stuff like that, and they call out actual professionals if they ever have some sort of a incident or scare. So there's no way that a rat just got up there and then went in the soup and then somehow just lost its leg. There would have been a whole rat in the soup.
Because you'd have to get a rat and then knowingly cut its foot off
Yeah.
and then put that in the soup. Like, that wouldn't be something that would just be a whoops-a-daisy moment.
Yeah, that's not something an employee would do as a funny haha joke. That is only something that somebody that's looking to scam a restaurant would do. And the only other likely scenario is that somehow that happened at the packaging level. Now that is completely different. I don't know if Olive Garden owns the company. I mean, they probably do, but I don't know where they get their soups and their ingredients from and stuff. This could be a whole nother level of stuff, and it's above Olive Garden or beyond Olive Garden. So yeah, like that store in particular, though, it would not have been, then.
Didn't mean for that to happen. That would be a planned, calculated event if that were true. There have been those cases that are legitimate where like a small rodent or like a cockroach or something falls into a deep fat fryer and someone ends up getting served a fucking fried rat. There have been real cases of that. That wasn't like some kind of malicious, I'm gonna fuck this person in the face with a fried rat type event. That was a whoop, this rat just fell in the deep fat fryer and people weren't paying enough attention to recognize it and get it out of there.
Yeah,
So
that's, I mean, even that's messed up. Like, that shouldn't happen either. I don't know how that can happen without someone noticing, or not even caring, you know?
getting served to a customer. Those have been reported in the past as real. But in this case, it wasn't the whole rat. It was just
Yeah, and if that happens, the restaurant should absolutely pay. Like, the person preparing the food should be conscious of any, um, outside materials, contaminants getting into food.
his severed leg. Like, you couldn't accidentally serve a severed rat's leg unless one of the chefs brought it from home because they were making a witch's potion in the back of the Olive Garden and it called for a rat's foot as one of the ingredients.
100%
Just like
the
practicing
guy, the
alchemy
customer,
back there.
unless
Like, there's no way you could
unless, like
accidentally have a rat's foot.
It could have happened on the packaging level, in which case that's something that Olive Garden would have to investigate into as well. Like, they, this store in particular wouldn't necessarily be to blame, but Olive Garden as a whole would, probably.
In that kitchen, because someone would have had to cut the rat's foot off and then knowingly put it in a soup. And beyond that, there are some sketchy things that the customer and his legal team are doing that don't make a whole lot of sense if this is all authentic and legitimate, if he actually did get served a rat's foot at the Olive Garden. Like, they're being very shady with how they're going about this. So I personally lean more on the side that I think this is likely
Does he go into detail about that?
A case of a customer bringing this in order to try and get money out of a lawsuit from the restaurant. But they chose Olive Garden. And
well, I mean, it's shady in general, like, just the thought of it, because, like, for me, knowing from experience, because I think, like, a lot of people that don't, like, have never worked at a restaurant probably could think, like, oh, yeah, that could totally happen. But they're unaware, like, of how these soups come, especially Olive Gardens. Like, they legitimately come as frozen bricks, encased in plastic, and they wouldn't, unless like I said, if it happened at the packaging plant, they wouldn't know or see that when they throw it in the hot bath and put it in the pot. But I still think it's highly unlikely that happened.
While Olive Garden doesn't have the best reputation, it doesn't have an overwhelmingly negative one either, where they're just gonna, like, go tits up on it and say, oh god, okay, here, just take the money and don't say anything. Like, if they had done this at a Burger King, like, Burger King served me this rat's foot, no one would have batted an eye. And Burger King would have been like, we probably did. Here,
in all fairness, no, I don't. Like, this wouldn't have even happened at Burger King. Like people give fast food restaurants less credit than they deserve. Like, because there's a lot of these restaurants where people that actually take their job seriously work there, and, like, knowing from experience personally right now, going and working at a Taco Bell temporarily just to try it out, those people take everything very seriously. Let me tell you, like, don't touch your hat, don't touch your apron, make sure your gloves are always clean, fresh gloves between orders and stuff. They're very by the book. Everything labeled, everything very, very by the book. And I mean, I'd imagine that a majority of fast food restaurants, if the employees actually, like, give a shit, like, maybe you live near some degenerate what's the word I'm looking for, franchise owned, because all fast food restaurants are essentially franchise owned, because that, like, helps them remove liability from the major corporation. But yeah, I mean, in all honesty, I think most of them would take it seriously, even Burger King.
Your money, we don't need to investigate. But at Olive Garden, there is some level of quality control, so these claims were taken very seriously, and a real thorough investigation has taken place by them in order to confirm if this is real or a scam. Do you hear about the rat foot found in a man's soup at Olive Garden? Was he upset about it?
Do we get a little more
sounds like
context?
a pretty
I
high-quality
want to know
menu on
more
Olive
about the
Garden. They gave him a
lawyers,
treat.
like how they're being
I actually
shady
don't hate
about it.
Olive Garden, to be honest with you.
Specifically, if it was
Madison
something
Heights man is
weird.
suing Olive Garden for allegedly serving him a severed rat's foot in a bowl of minestrone soup. Thomas Howie, 54, seeking damages of more than $25,000 for physical injury, mental anguish, and emotional distress. Let me take a peek. That could be anything. That might not even be a rat's foot. That's pretty big. That's
Yeah,
like a
what the
whole
fuck is that thing?
goddamn
It is
werewolf
massive.
paw.
A fucking talon.
It's good
Is
luck.
that next to a
It's good
pickle?
for you. Howie said he was talking with two
Oh, there's no
dinner
pickles in
companions and
soup.
not really
What the
looking
fuck
at the
is
soup
that?
he ate when he
Like-
felt
like
something
zucchini?
sharp stab his cheek. Ooh. He quickly spat the object out into his napkin. When he looked inside the napkin, he saw what appeared to be the fur-covered foot of a rat, complete with claws. Oh, God. Scrumptious. That's like something you'd find at Burger King. This would be something Burger King would serve you with a smile on their face, and this would probably be better than half their menu. Howie informed Olive Garden management, who says they did not take the matter seriously.
Hey. Burger King is good for what it's good for. And that's the Whopper, and that's it. Whopper, no mayonnaise. You can't get that shit all slopped up with mayonnaise and expect it to be good. Okay? So just stop that. Whenever I always watch this tier list, they always get shit in the worst form and eat it and then trash talk it. And it's like, come on, you're not doing it justice when you buy 500 items and you eat it on the last at the bottom of the list, or every single item is covered in fucking mayonnaise or some kind of weird sauce. Like, you have to get it without that shit to kind of get like just to get a better sense of the actual flavor on your palate, other than just like, ooh, sloppy burger with mayonnaise. Like, you actually gotta fucking taste the burger and stuff with the other ingredients, not just all that fucking mayonnaise.
Employee even joked about it, implying
But other than that, the Whopper and the chicken fries, Burger King's pretty trash.
that Howie had placed the rat foot in the soup himself. This man must have brought a rat foot in here to frame us. I'm sure it's happened at some point, but I feel like it's not that common.
The restaurant was kind of
Lack of concern
downplaying it.
displayed by Olive Garden employees led Howie to call the police. Warren police interviewed Howie, his friends, and several employees. And
Well,
the police
yeah,
report described
that's what I'm saying. And the reason that the employees at this store would have downplayed it, because again, like I already explained, there's like no fucking way that happened on a store level unless it was a whole goddamn rat, because they do not make the soups at the store like that. So that's fundamentally the problem with this guy's argument, and why Olive Garden's so quick to throw down, because they know this guy's fucking wrong. You know what I mean? Now, like I said, my thought is maybe it happened on the packaging level, but Olive Garden would know more about that if that's something that they would be liable for, or the packaging company, in which case, why they're going to fight it. Because if this is something they'll turn around on the packaging company, then hey, fuck them. But I think in reality, this is just some person trying to get a quick scam, and he's a fucking moron. He's just not aware how restaurants work, so he thinks he's pulling a fast one. I'm going to call this video here, and I'm going to link Charlie's video so you can watch the rest, get more context, see more of his humor. But yeah, I just wanted to make a video about it and add some insight as somebody that worked at restaurants, various restaurants, for over 15 years. And yeah, pretty much every single restaurant operates in that same way with soups and sauces and stuff. Either they come pre-bagged, frozen, canned, like everything is that, and it's open to order. Not just like open and sitting there for anything to fucking go in it. There's times and date limits on items and stuff like that. So yeah, you have to take proper preservation methods and health safety methods when you work at these places. But that's about it. Peace.